Today, we are going to explore a simple but profound teaching from Buddhism, the power of silence. Silence is not just the absence of noise. Silence is a tool, a practice, a doorway to mindfulness, inner calm, and wisdom. In this session, we will focus on 5 critical situations where silence is more powerful than words. These situations are during anger, amid gossip and slander, in conflict, when witnessing suffering, during personal hardship. Silence in these moments is transformative. It allows us to pause, to reflect, and to respond with clarity rather than reacting impulsively. I invite you to approach this talk not just as listening, but as a practice. As you hear these lessons, imagine applying them in your own life. Notice the subtle shifts in your thoughts, in your emotions, and in the way you feel in your body. Let's begin with our first situation. Situation 1. During anger, approximately equals 15 minutes. Anger is a natural human emotion. We all feel it. It arises when we feel threatened, frustrated, or wronged. But when anger takes control, it clouds our judgment, fuels rash actions, and damages relationships. Buddhism teaches that silence in moments of anger is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is a pause, a space where you regain control over your mind and heart. Imagine a moment when someone says something hurtful to you. Instinctively, you might want to snap back, yell, or argue. But pause, take a breath. Instead of speaking, allow yourself to observe the anger. Notice it in your body. Perhaps your chest tightens, your jaw clenches, or your stomach churns. Simply notice it. Do not act on it yet. Here's a story. A man was cut off in traffic. His immediate reaction was rage. But he remembered a lesson on silence. He took a slow breath, observed the anger without judgment, and stayed silent. In that pause, the rage softened. He continued driving calmly. Later, he realized how different he would have felt if he had reacted impulsively, yelling, honking, or chasing the other car. His choice of silence preserved his peace and prevented regret. Now, let's practice a short reflection. Think of a recent moment when anger arose. Close your eyes if you can. Visualize the situation. Notice your emotions. Now, imagine staying silent, observing without reacting. Feel the weight lifting from your chest. The mind clears. You regain control. Buddhism teaches that silence during anger is a form of self-mastery. It is the pause that allows mindfulness to guide your actions, rather than letting anger control you. Practical tip: when you feel anger rising, count to 10 silently, breathe deeply, or even step away for a moment. Use that space to observe, reflect, and respond thoughtfully. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. Benefits of this practice: you prevent harmful words or actions. You maintain inner peace. You preserve relationships. You earn respect because people notice your calmness. Situation 2. Amid gossip and slander. Gossip and slander are common in everyday life. We hear someone spreading rumors or speaking negatively about another person, and sometimes we feel tempted to join in, to defend ourselves, or to retaliate. But Buddhism teaches that silence in these moments is powerful and transformative. When you remain silent in the face of gossip, you protect your own peace of mind. Avoid creating unnecessary conflict. Uphold integrity and moral clarity. Imagine a situation at work. 2 colleagues are talking behind someone else's back. One of them turns to you and asks for your opinion. You could join in, giving your perspective or repeating what you've heard. Or, you could remain silent. Silence here is not indifference. It is mindfulness. It is a conscious choice to avoid harm. By staying silent, you prevent yourself from becoming a participant in negativity. You allow yourself to reflect, to observe the situation, and to respond, if needed, with wisdom later. Let's take a moment for reflection. Think of a recent time when someone spoke poorly about another person. Close your eyes. Notice how your body and mind reacted. Did you feel anger, curiosity, or the urge to comment? Now imagine yourself remaining silent. Notice the calm that emerges. Feel the freedom from participating in negativity. Buddhism emphasizes the importance of right speech. This includes speaking truthfully, speaking kindly, speaking at the right time, speaking only when necessary. By choosing silence in gossip, you practice right speech without uttering a word. You are silently upholding morality and cultivating inner peace. Here's a practical exercise. The next time you hear gossip, pause. Take a slow breath. Ask yourself, is it necessary for me to say anything? Will my words cause harm? If the answer is no, remain silent. Notice the mental clarity and emotional relief that arises. Let me share a story. A young monk once observed villagers spreading false rumors about someone. The monk did not respond, did not repeat the words, and did not intervene immediately. By staying silent, he prevented further harm and allowed himself time to understand the truth. Later, when he spoke, his words carried wisdom and clarity, respected by all. Silence in gossip and slander cultivates self-discipline, resisting impulsive reactions. Wisdom, seeing the situation clearly before acting. Respect. Others notice your integrity and calm demeanor. Pause now. Take a deep breath. Imagine yourself practicing silence the next time someone tries to involve you in gossip. Visualize the peace and clarity it brings. Remember, silence here is not weakness. It is strength under control. It demonstrates that you are not easily swayed by negativity and that you can maintain your moral compass even in challenging situations. Situation 3. In conflict. Conflict is an inevitable part of life. Whether it's at work, within your family, or among friends, disagreements arise. When conflict occurs, our instinct is often to respond immediately, sometimes with words we later regret, sometimes with actions that escalate tension. Buddhism teaches that silence in moments of conflict is not avoidance, it is a conscious choice that creates space for understanding and resolution. Imagine a heated argument with a colleague or family member. Both sides are speaking loudly, emotions rising, judgments flying. In the middle of this storm, you choose silence. You stop speaking, not because you don't care, but because you are choosing mindfulness over impulse. Silence here allows several things to happen. Observation, you can notice your own emotions and reactions. Understanding, you can hear the other person more clearly, without preparing your rebuttal. Response, not reaction, by pausing, you create space to respond thoughtfully instead of impulsively. Here's a story. Two friends were arguing over a misunderstanding. One of them, instead of shouting back, remained silent. During that silence, he reflected on the situation, considered the other's perspective, and allowed emotions to settle. When he finally spoke, his words were calm, compassionate, and effective. The conflict was resolved peacefully, and the friendship was strengthened. Let's practice a reflection. Think of a recent conflict in your life. Visualize the scene. Notice your body, your tension, your urge to respond. Now, imagine yourself staying silent, observing both your feelings and the other person's. Notice the space that opens between impulse and action. Feel the calmness that arises from that pause. Buddhism emphasizes the middle path, avoiding extremes. In conflict, silence embodies this principle. It is neither aggressive nor submissive. It is mindful. It allows the mind to act from clarity rather than anger. Practical tips for practicing silence in conflict. When emotions rise, take 3 deep breaths before responding. If necessary, step away for a moment to regain composure. Listen actively, without interrupting, as the other person speaks. Speak only when your words are necessary, kind, and truthful. The benefits of silence in conflict are profound. You prevent escalation. You maintain emotional control. You foster respect from others, who see your calm and thoughtful demeanor. You gain insight into yourself and the situation. Now, take a moment. Close your eyes if you can. Visualize your next conflict. Imagine responding with silence, observing, and then speaking with wisdom. Notice the difference in how the situation feels. Your heart is lighter, your mind clearer, your energy more peaceful. Silence in conflict is not weakness. It is the greatest form of strength, because it shows mastery over your impulses and the courage to act with intention, not reaction. Situation 4. Witnessing suffering. Life is filled with moments of suffering, our own and that of others. Pain, loss, and hardship are natural parts of existence. Yet, when we witness suffering, our reactions are often immediate: discomfort, judgment, pity, or even avoidance. Buddhism teaches that silence in the presence of suffering is a form of mindful compassion. By not rushing to speak, judge, or react, we create space for understanding, empathy, and presence. Imagine seeing someone in distress, perhaps a friend, a stranger, or even a news story. Your first impulse may be to offer advice, make a comment, or try to fix the situation. But sometimes, words are unnecessary. Your silence allows you to truly be present, to listen with your heart, and to offer support without imposing. Here's a story. A young monk walked through a village and saw a child grieving. The villagers were anxious, trying to console the child with words and distractions. The monk simply sat silently nearby, offering presence and calm. Over time, the child's tears slowed, not because of what was said, but because of the quiet, compassionate space the monk provided. Let's practice a reflection. Think of a moment when someone you know experienced suffering. Close your eyes and visualize being present with them. Notice the urge to speak or fix. Now, choose silence. Simply be there. Feel the connection that arises through your quiet presence. Notice how your heart opens and your mind becomes calm. Silence in witnessing suffering has several benefits. It reduces impulsive judgments or advice giving that may not be helpful. It cultivates true empathy and understanding. It allows your own mind to remain centered and calm. It creates a safe, compassionate space for others. Practical exercise. The next time you see someone struggling, whether emotionally, physically, or mentally, practice active, silent presence. Observe your reactions, notice your thoughts, and remain quietly attentive. You may find that your silent presence alone offers comfort far more than words ever could. Buddha often emphasized that compassion without judgment or unnecessary speech is a profound form of action. Silence does not mean inaction, it means choosing the most thoughtful, mindful action available. Pause now, take a deep breath, reflect on the difference between reacting with words and reacting with mindful silence. Feel the stillness in your body, the clarity in your mind, and the openness in your heart. Silence in the presence of suffering allows you to witness life fully, without being swept away by emotion. It deepens your empathy, strengthens your compassion, and fosters inner calm that radiates outward to others. Situation 5. During personal hardship. Life inevitably presents challenges, loss, failure, disappointment, or uncertainty. When we face these hardships, our instinct is often to speak, complain, or distract ourselves from the pain. But Buddhism teaches that silence during personal hardship is a path to clarity, resilience, and inner strength. Silence allows us to reflect on the situation without judgment, observe our thoughts and emotions objectively, respond to challenges with mindfulness rather than reactivity. Imagine a moment of personal difficulty, perhaps a professional setback, a relationship ending, or a health concern. Instead of immediately reacting, venting, blaming, or worrying, pause. Sit in silence. Observe your feelings. Acknowledge your pain without needing to mask it or justify it. Here's a story. A monk faced the loss of his teacher. Many around him expressed grief loudly, offering advice, consolation, or distractions. The monk chose silence. Through quiet reflection, he processed his grief, gained insight into the impermanent nature of life, and found inner peace. Later, when he spoke about his experience, his words carried wisdom, compassion, and calmness that deeply inspired others. Let's practice a reflection. Close your eyes. Think of a personal hardship you are currently facing or have recently faced. Notice the thoughts and emotions that arise. Now, allow yourself to sit silently with them, breathing deeply. Do not push away your feelings. Observe them as if watching clouds pass in the sky, present, yet not permanent. Practical tips for practicing silence during hardship. Dedicate a few minutes each day to sit quietly with your emotions. Journaling silently can also be a form of mindful reflection. Pause before reacting to stressor, allowing clarity to guide your actions. Use deep breathing to anchor yourself in the present moment. Benefits of practicing silence during hardship. Emotional resilience, clarity of thought, reduction of stress and impulsive reactions, deepened self-awareness and personal growth. Remember, silence here is not avoidance. It is an intentional space that allows transformation. By sitting quietly with your struggles, you cultivate strength, patience, and insight. Closing reflection, approximately equals 5 to 10 minutes. We have now explored 5 powerful situations where silence is more than the absence of words. It is a tool for mindfulness, compassion, and inner peace. During anger, amid gossip and slander, in conflict, when witnessing suffering, during personal hardship, silence is a doorway. It allows us to pause, reflect, and respond thoughtfully. It is a practice of presence, empathy, and wisdom. As you leave this session, I invite you to consider, how can you bring more intentional silence into your daily life? How might choosing silence in these situations change the quality of your thoughts, emotions, and relationships? Take a deep breath. Let your mind settle. Feel the weight of words left unsaid, the clarity of presence, and the peace that arises from mindfulness. Know that each time you choose silence wisely, you are practicing self-mastery, compassion, and insight. Buddha taught that the mindful use of silence is a path to personal growth, inner peace, and deeper understanding. Embrace it, practice it, let it transform not only your life but also the lives of those around you. Take one final deep breath. Smile gently. Carry this calm, this clarity, and this mindful presence into the rest of your day.